good.
Ooh, what kind of pork you making?
Pork carnitas in my Instant Pot.
Ooh, yum. I made, if you ever are curious about mixing some nationalities together, I had this dish the other night that was pork tenderloin and bulgogi. So it was like a sort of like, I guess more like Vietnamese, I think is sort of what that is. Or not Vietnamese, like Korean barbecue maybe, like Korean pork stuff. And it was so good. And then tonight I'm doing bulgogi chicken tacos.
How often do you stick your dick in your foods, Ben?
All the time.
That's the best way to
Not
test
the food
it.
I'm gonna eat.
That's the human meat thermometer right there.
One portion for my dick and one portion to eat.
So 2 servings every night.
Exactly. Well, not a full serving for my dick. I just enough to stick my dick.
Just a
in.
bite of everything, you know. Just a nibble, just enough that you can stick down your pee hole.
Ugh. That's not the way. That's the opposite of what it's supposed to do. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Hard Reset, a Cold North production. I'm your host, Patrick the Law Morris, and joining me this week, as usual, we have gorgeous Ben Reynolds.
Meow.
And the effervescent Andrew Etchen.
Hello.
Now, full disclosure, we got a little bit mixed up on the numbering. I have resolved this issue. That's on me. I'm sorry. But coming up on Hard Reset number 122, we'll be discussing 1 delay and 2 new release dates for big Sony exclusives, potentially the end of the simulation era for WWE, and the resurfacing of Ubisoft's Wild. And then for this week's topic of the show, we'll be talking about games that have changed hands throughout the years and whether we thought that those changes were good or bad. But before we get to all that, I want to know what you guys have been playing this week. So, Andrew, tell me what you've been playing.
I actually got the other day Journey to the Savage Planet. And because it was on sale, I think it's like $13 or something like that. It's kind of like, I would say it's like a Metroidvania light type of game, but more in the vein of like space stuff and almost like a weird Subnautica vibe to it. Like you constantly kill random shit and like get resources, and then you can go back to your ship and get some more stuff, and like pretty like minimal upgrades, and it's very easy, but the general like vibe and like exploring around this great big crazy world is very it's like open worldy, but more like within the confines of these little zones, which are kind of nice. So it's it's very interesting. It's very fun. It's kind of like how you were telling me about Outer Wilds. The sort of thing that Outer Wilds is.
Sick ass.
Like Outer Wilds is like, it's like if you took Outer Wilds but you made it like one planet.
Oh, okay.
And a very deliberate like sort of goal, and gave you a little gun, like a little laser gun.
Oh,
One savage planet. Journey to the Savage Planet.
So, are you on the Savage Planet, or are you journeying there?
So it's the reason I call it sort of Subnautica-y is because in Subnautica you explore around and you find there's like logs and things that kind of explain how the company that sent you into space in the first place is like pretty negligent. And in this, it's like sort of that same energy as like Subnautica, or maybe even
Alien.
No. What's that other game that recently came out? The Outer Worlds. Like how that has like jokey, sarcastic, like consumerism space humor. It's like that sort of stuff. So you like, you know, you come back from stuff and like your AI is very like sarcastic and says silly shit, and like then you go back to your spaceship and it's just tons of like jokes about like buying stuff and like weird consumerism stuff that's still on the planet, and like the company that you work for is quoted as the 4th best aerospace company on Earth, and they're like really proud that they're the fourth best, and like, but they're really like a negligent company. But like, it's more of like a Metroidvania game. Like you wander around these little zones, and it's like, oh, you have to actually like sort of like No Man's Sky. You can scan like all of the different ecology and stuff once to get information, and once you scan certain stuff, it'll be like, hey, this unlocks a little side quest. If you go find this shrine thing, you can get a chemical that lets you get triple jump, or a chemical that lets you get a little grappling hook thing. So you wander around and get things like that, so you can just increase your exploration, and then eventually you get to the top of this great big tower kind of thing on the Savage Planet, and you beat the game. But I'm probably like halfway through it right now, and it's very fun. If you like a game that's got a lot of silly humor, and it's just space, and it's just simple and like quick, I'd give it a try.
And it's savage.
And
it's savage.
That
Like
sounds pretty cool.
the trailer is supposed to be like all the animals are super dangerous and everything's killing you, but then like you play the game, and the game is like very easy. I've only died one time, and that was because I fell to my death because I found a secret thing to like, you know, to go down and get it. But then after I got it, I didn't have the grappling hook yet to get out. So I had to just kill myself. And so that's the only time I've died in the whole game, which is like, the game's pretty easy, I would say. But it's funny when like they do these updates on you, and then they'll go through all your shit, and the AI will be like, and you've only died a handful of times. Like, good for you. You're actually pretty good at not being terrible on a random planet or whatever.
That's
like it's very fun. I'd recommend it.
They should have used this spelling.
Sauvage.
That
actually sounds pretty cool. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it's on sale right now, I think.
Is it on Switch?
Like half off. No, it's I don't know if it's on Switch, but it's on PlayStation. I'm just playing it on PlayStation. It's a hard to describe game, but I bought it and I sat there and I played like half the game in one sitting, because I was just like, this is so fun. Like, it's so fun to like, because you'll scan random plants and animals, and then like depending on the animal, the AI will say something like, one of them was literally like, you scanned this lizard creature, and it was like, this creature shows that its tentacles, that this creature has its testicles on the ends of its tail.
Oh, so it sounds like it leans pretty hard into
fart jokes and stuff like that. Yeah, and it's just like, so apparently if you shoot him there, it'll die. So go for it. So I like that kind of stuff. It makes light of the horrible like idea of like how horrible that would be to be stranded on a weird planet.
Andrew,
but it's very
potty humor.
Silly. Yeah,
all right.
You can feed these little bird creatures, and they fart carbon, or you can just shoot them.
I prefer this journey to the sausage planet, man. I want a journey to the sausage planet.
Ben, tell me what you've been playing.
Where I can eat sausages.
Ben, tell me what you've been playing this week.
To the sausage planet.
What's the premise of that game?
You just eat sausages
on a planet
Earth. No, I've been playing.
It's just a game about sausage eating contests.
Kielbasa
game.
Journey to the sausage planet.
So Ben, what have you been playing?
Creatures.
I have been playing Ori in the Blind Forest.
Ori in the Blind Forest.
Really?
Yeah, and it is a frustrating game, but I don't play a lot of like 2D side-scrolling platformers.
Yeah,
and so I find a lot of parts of it quite frustrating, but it is definitely fun at parts too.
You know, my advice for that is get good.
Yeah, it's definitely a game that requires that. Ben, I didn't want to like. So, spoiler alert for Game Pass Anonymous. It wasn't grabbing me. So I decided I was going to play it on Switch, and it's so much better as a handheld game. Like,
yeah, that's where I have it. I loved it on Switch.
Xbox. I was like, oh, this is fine. But on Switch, I'm like, oh no, I really like this. So Ben, I mean, I know that you're probably too far that you don't want to go back and do it again on Switch, but yeah. Have you played anything else besides Ori?
A lot of Call of Duty.
Nice.
I
And
went ahead and got the full game.
oh, you bought Modern Warfare?
Yeah.
How do you like it?
I mean, all I've played is the multiplayer, but it seems pretty fun. It's cool. It's got a lot of the like old maps from like the other Modern Warfares, so that's fun because it's like, oh, I remember this map and stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't like the campaign, but that's okay. Are you guys gonna buy Modern Warfare 2 when it comes out later this month?
No.
It's just Modern Warfare 2 remastered, right?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Isn't that out like in a couple days? I feel like. Let's look that up. No, I'm definitely gonna buy that, but Modern Warfare 2 remastered Xbox. By the way, Modern Warfare 2 already the best-selling game of 2019 or of 2020.
Modern Warfare 2?
Yeah.
Just people pre-ordering it?
So it's out on PlayStation. But
You're out on PlayStation.
don't think so. But no, so that's interesting. Ben, we'll discuss Ori in more depth later on. Personally, I have been I've been playing Donkey Kong Land. I owned a couple of the Donkey Kong Land games when I was a kid on my Game Boy, and like I never finished them. I never even got close, but we're quarantined, and so it was $4, and I was like, all right, I'll just pick this up. It turns out it's like a remarkably good approximation of the Donkey Kong Country games, which are games that are like notorious for having pushed the Super Nintendo kind of to its limit. And to see that they were able to scale that down to the Game Boy so well was pretty impressive. So like it's not fantastic, but like it's a pretty good game.
Nice.
So
2 thumbs up, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think I'll probably honestly buy Donkey Kong Land 2 and 3 and play through those as well, because Land 1 has been really good. Very enjoyable.
Enjoyable.
Can't you already just play them on that thing that Tim made for you, though?
Yes, I can, but that thing also has problems with corrupting a save. And so it gets corrupted pretty often, whereas I could just pay $4 and own it on my 3DS and play it on a bigger screen with a better, more comfortable system.
More reliable system. That's always my thing. After I tried playing Final Fantasy IX like 6 times as a kid, and my memory card on PS1 just crapping out every time. When I was finally able to get it on my PS3 for $5 or something, I was like, yes! And then I played the whole goddamn thing finally, and I was like, I finally, after like 15 years, got to play this whole game.
Yeah, so Andrew knows. So now it's time for the news at Now.
News show. It's the news show. We are now a news show, so we bring you news.
All right, so this week on the news at Now, delays, I guess you could call it, but a couple weeks ago, Sony, they were very dramatic about saying this. They delayed The Last of Us Part 2, quote unquote, indefinitely. And I mean, it was true at the time.
What? I heard it was coming out in June.
Well, we talked about this a couple weeks ago on the show, Andrew. Pay attention to what I just said in the last sentence. But no, so Last of Us Part 2 got delayed indefinitely a couple weeks ago, and it led to a lot of people, including us. We speculated on this show that Ghost of Tsushima would get delayed as well. and a lot of people thought the same thing. But one hand giveth, the other hand taketh away. While The Last of Us 2 is back on the calendar, both Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima,
both of them were
later.
back on the calendar.
Yeah, they're both coming quite a bit later. Well, not quite a bit at
not
all.
That much later.
No, like 1 month.
Yeah.
So,
because isn't it? I think I remember hearing they're basically like one after the other. Like first, Last of Us will come out, and then the next month,
which is how
Ghost of Tsushima
which
in
is
June
how
and
they were
July,
originally
which will
planned.
be pretty. I'm like, that's fine. That's only 1 month away. Although I have been constantly racking my brain here. What games are coming out in May? Aren't there some games coming out in May that are worth mentioning?
Well, it was supposed to be Avengers and Last of Us Part 2.
There's not any
when's,
others?
whatchamacallit's supposed to come out?
Oh yeah,
You're gonna have to give me more than that. Which one? Cyberpunk? I think Cyberpunk is September.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it got delayed. It was originally going to be.
I think it was originally April,
Oh, sons of bitches.
and then it got delayed. But
No, not sons of bitches. CD Projekt Red, I love you.
it's interesting though. Like this is Ben. You make a like. I'm glad you bring up Cyberpunk here because it's interesting that we're having Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, and Cyberpunk all in the summer months. And usually summer is like a really dead time for games.
I'm fine with that. I hate the lull period in the summer when nothing's coming out. I would love it if all the good games actually came out during that time.
What'd you say, Ben?
I said I like video games.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's interesting because Sony announced on the PlayStation blog yesterday. Last of Us Part 2 is due out on June 19th, and Ghost of Tsushima will follow on July 17th. So they are within 1 month of each other, which seems like...
Oh, you know what's coming out in May that I did remember?
What?
That is worth noting?
What?
Avatar: The Last Airbender, all 3 books on Netflix. Hell yeah.
Okay. Well, that's not related, so...
Sure it is.
Ben, you look very tired.
I'm like, I don't know about Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Same.
The show? The old cartoon?
Or Avatar:
So
The
good.
Aliens. I'll tell you,
Both
I'm
of those are
very
good.
disinterested in Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I am infinitely more interested in that than I am in Avatar.
All right. I didn't know I was in the company of a couple of fucking Luddites, but I'm kidding. What? You guys never watched that? I love that show. That show's like like a staple of my childhood.
Ben was making sexy lips.
Staple your childhood.
So
Watching Last Airbender. in high school.
I'm pulling you guys both back in. Like, what the hell? Where did you guys go with this?
I
But
was
no.
trying to create some conversation.
So these games were originally due out like basically within a month of each other, and now Sony pushed them both back, but they're like within the same proximity. So we felt pretty confident a couple weeks ago that there was a PS5 version of Last of Us Part 2 kind of in the chamber, ready to go. Are you guys still feeling that way?
Not really.
Yeah,
I think it'll be kind of like how, yeah, I feel like it'll be sort of like how the first one was. Like they'll have the first one on the PS4. It'll be a whole thing, and then PS5 will come out, and after a little while it'll be out. They'll do the remastered super version, and it'll be like for the PS5. It'll be all like,
yeah,
but they'll basically just have it already ready, and they'll just be like, it's the remastered version when it's really just like the PS5 version they made.
Yeah. So Ben, you mentioned that you feel like the evidence isn't as compelling anymore, right?
Yes.
So
Correct.
I'm kind of with both of you guys on this. I think that with Last of Us Part 2 being put back on the calendar so soon, I feel like, Ben, I'm with you as far as, oh, you looked like a pirate for a second. Ben, I'm with you as far as like for
that shouldn't have got me, but it did.
it got me too. But for I feel like it's kind of it's not great news for the idea of there being a PS5 version at launch. And I feel like with this news, I feel like it's almost certain that if there is a PS5 version, it'll kind of be what Andrew you were saying as far as like 9 months or a year after PS5 launch.
Yeah. And just like the first one, I'll play the normal one on PS4, and then I'll play the remaster one on PS5, and I'll play that version on hard, and I'll play the whole thing on hard, or super hard, or whatever the hell the hardest one was. The hardest mode on the first game is so much fun to play. It makes the game just
very
feels
intense.
so much more like intense. Like, oh, it's so good. But I would totally do that. I'm gonna do the exact same thing. I got it all planned out, plotted out. My course is set.
I'll play it on PS4. I'm not totally convinced I'll play it on PS5, but we'll see.
I'll play it in
I'll
outer
play it on
space.
PS5 because also
Ben, how are you going to play it in
similarly
outer
to
space?
the first one, they'll just give it away for free 1 month.
Ben, how are you going to play it in outer space?
Magic.
Okay. Easy enough. So no segue here, just going to go straight to the next topic. WWE. So as we've been drawing closer and closer to the usual fall release of the WWE 2K game, people
Nobody cares.
actually a lot of people care. People have kind of speculated that maybe WWE, because we haven't heard anything about WWE 2K21, people have been speculating maybe it's canceled. But now we have confirmation from Take-Two that indeed WWE 2K21 has been canceled. And so it never really got out of pre-production, it seems like. And so it was, there will be no WWE game this year.
Womp womp.
I mean, you say that, but like it sold pretty well. Like it sells pretty well every year.
It's true. I'm just belittling the things I don't understand.
That's true.
What if they use this as an opportunity to reboot it?
That's what I think. And Ben, I was actually going to ask. I was going to ask you both, but Andrew seems to be a kind of a downer. But like,
It's
what?
true. I've also.
Debbie?
I don't think I've ever played a WWE game.
Yeah, Andrew's being a Debbie. What would you want to see if WWE comes back next year?
Full on pornographic.
More chairs.
Porn video game.
Mm-hmm.
I
like
would want to
30
see.
Rock.
Ben, remember we used to play SmackDown versus Raw quite a bit?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would want to see that. I would want to see them go back to the more... go
Like
back to
Capcom
something
versus
more like
Marvel.
arcadey type. Like, very silly, very stupid. Get away from the sim type game, because as the 2K games have progressed, they've
It's like a
become more and
wrestling game.
more...
Isn't the whole point to be over the top and ridiculous? and
Exactly.
theatrical?
Exactly. And I mean, like...
To make it so that you and your friends, one of your friends is like, this is complete bullshit. And the other two are just laughing.
Yeah, that was exactly...
Just
It's not like Ben has any experience with that or anything.
Or the other way around. I mean, I've done it
That's
to
true.
other people too. So
Yeah, no, you're exactly right, Ben. It's like I think that's the best way for them to go, as far as like, it's fun, it's funny. Make those games an arcade experience again, because that's what those games are fun, is like at their core, they're a fighting game, and they should not like making them a simulation.
Yeah, try not to get too like, too like over the top with the customization. When exactly, it's like it'd be more like a Smash game. You get like skins, and otherwise you just beat the crap out of each other with like over the top ridiculous moves. Like that's what makes
I don't know. The customization of characters can be cool.
That's true.
I have seen some funny ones online. I have seen some really good ones.
But Andrew, in that sentiment, I think that they need to make it more like Smash Bros. And less like FIFA. In the sense that they need to make it less of a simulation and more of just a party game. and like that's what will make it more fun. And
you mean less of a party game when you mean more of a party game?
Yeah, more of a party game. More like Smash, less like FIFA. More of a party game.
Less of a competitive
less
game.
Of a simulator.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I would love to see the return of like SmackDown vs. Raw or No Mercy or like the N64 wrestling games were awesome. Ben, you played those with Alex right now.
When they get hit in the nuts.
Yeah, exactly. Like that shit's funny. All right. And speaking of nuts, what do squirrels like? Where do squirrels live? The wild.
Oh.
So, that's a good segue.
The wild? You said that before, and I'm like, what is Ubisoft's The Wild?
Ubisoft had a game. They announced a game in 2014 called Wild. And
they did?
Yeah, and it was an open world action adventure game. It seemed to stir up a lot of excitement. A lot of people seemed pretty into it. Then a year later in 2015, they released another trailer. And again, people were pretty stoked on this game. And then it just went dark. Then the game just totally fell off the map. It disappeared. And people have been talking ever since then of like, whatever happened to that game Wild. And Ben, thank you for sending this.
Screw that. I want to know what happened to, what was it, Beyond Good and Evil 2.
That game is still coming.
Is it? Oh, I hope so. That game I loved the first one. But back to what you were saying.
Well, but also, apparently Wild is still coming as well. So...
what about Dick Wild? That seems to be another game of theirs.
Ben, you sent us this story.
They have Dick Wild too. Also.
Andrew, shut the fuck up, Jesus Christ. Ben, you sent us this story.
Wild action in the meantime.
What?
Does that say "bite me" but backwards? We can't read it on this way. It's like a mirror.
Yeah. No, Ben. So you sent us this story, and it was basically. Just randomly, there was more concept art uploaded to the website, to the Wild website, and they didn't make any announcement. They didn't send out a tweet or anything. It was just there was new art on the website, and so apparently, like it's kind of looking like maybe the game is still under development because Ubisoft still owns the web address. Beat me off. Ben, we still have to read it backwards.
I wrote that backwards. I literally wrote that backwards.
Yeah, I know, and it looks backwards to us.
Oh.
No, but so apparently this game is still alive, and that's pretty interesting. Do you guys feel like this is like indicative that it's still in development and it's moving over to the PS5?
Probably.
Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, it was initially announced as a PlayStation exclusive.
You're a PlayStation exclusive.
What?
From Ubisoft?
From Ubisoft, yeah.
Actually, I should say I'm a PlayStation exclusive.
You are a PlayStation exclusive, except when you're when you're in a different zip code, you don't mind hanging out with your Switch.
It's true.
Exclude you.
True. My Switch is like my side piece.
Yeah, it's true.
Whenever I'm away from home, I bring it with me.
But don't tell Andrew's PlayStation.
Yeah, never tell my PlayStation. That's my baby. That's my baby back home.
All right. Well,
he knows all my dark secrets.
We'll see what happens with Wild. If there's any more news, I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit. But now it's time for the topic of the show.
Shoot.
Ew, don't wear your shoes on the beach. Otherwise, you're a shoebie.
Take them off and wear a peach.
And wear a peach instead. Ooh, peachy. Instead of a shoebie. Ooh, yeah, shoebie.
So earlier this week, I was thinking about like how it can be pretty interesting when video games kind of change hands or switch developers.
Oh, that's terrible.
When that happens, and I just wanted to like, I put together a list of some of the ones that were kind of iconic to me as far as like the ones that kind of stood out to me. If you guys have any that you want to discuss, please chime in. But I just wanted to run down the list and see what you guys thought of these ones. I just wanted to present these to you guys and hear what you guys thought of. Was this good? Was this bad? And why?
Go for it.
And I don't expect you to know
Forest.
or to have experience with all of them. And again, if any of them come to mind for you guys,
speak, scholar.
Exactly. But I mean, this it can happen in like, they can transition, they can change hands in several different ways. There's reboots, spin-offs, sequels. It can happen mid-development sometimes, and then there's also like the single entry ones where it's just kind of a one-off.
This is gonna be a stupid question. Who makes Assassin's Creed games now?
Ubisoft.
Oh, they killed everything.
They started everything.
Yeah, they did kind of start everything.
They start everything and then they shot themselves.
So
But go ahead.
first one, Halo. Went from Bungie to 343 in 2011 with Halo Anniversary.
Don't know much about it, but I heard it was not the best.
Ben?
Yeah, not greatest.
I heard people really like Bungie's stuff more. And from my experience with Destiny, I would say I do enjoy, and a little bit of Halo from my childhood. Bungie really does know how to make a good shooter.
Yeah, Bungie's got that 30-second loop down pat. I think that this one is pretty interesting just because when 343 is remaking Bungie's stuff, it's awesome. Like 343 as a remake studio is amazing. 343 as an original content studio, not so much. Because like Halo Anniversary, Halo 2 Anniversary, and then the like ports of Halo 3, 4, and Reach up to, or the ports of 3 and 4, or not 4, the ports of 3 and Reach up to Xbox One and PC are really, really good. But Halo 4 was good-ish, and that was their first original one.
Never played Halos.
I mean, it was good, and then Halo 5 was not. Halo 5 was actually pretty bad. And those were the two 343 originals. And so
now they've got Infinite coming.
Yeah, and so now they have Infinite coming, and this is kind of their third shot at the at like seeing if they can keep Halo alive. And I think that, I don't want to say it's do or die at this point, but I kind of like,
man, it's crazy to think about that. I remember way back in the day, like middle school, my friend Tim's brother going and buying an Xbox, and we went with him to the mall, and he bought Halo 1 Combat Evolved, and we went home, we all played it for the first time ever, and played the multiplayer together, and he shit on us because we were like 10 years old, he was like 15 or 16, and oh man.
Still one of my favorite games of all time.
I'll forever vividly remember that day. Going specifically and being handed one of those ginormous fucking mothership controllers and being like, play a game with this. And I'm like, I feel like I'm holding a fucking plate.
Yeah, especially as a 10-year-old. Like that controller is big now, but like as a 10-year-old.
As a 10-year-old, my little itty bitty hands, I'm like, it literally is like holding a plate. It's like trying to play a video game with a steering wheel.
It was absurd.
But
now
it's sad. It's sad, sort of sad to hear it slowly circling the drain a little bit.
I think they're going to make a big comeback with Halo Infinite, though. I think that like it looks like they're doing all, like it looks like they're making all the right moves. They're going back to a Halo, which
Destiny style Halo game where
pass.
everyone just gets to be their own Titan.
Nope, pass. Don't want that.
They are gonna do
It would be
a.
like ESO. They would just kill their own franchise with it. Not kill it, but
Ben, what were you
not
saying?
get any favors.
They are not going to be. a battle royale.
They will
Is that
not
just
be doing a battle
He's
royale.
drawing a big veiny dick right now.
Ben is drawing a giant penis.
He's got the different colored markers and everything. He's putting shading
He's
into
like,
it. Oh my
he's like very into this drawing of a penis. That's a very straight penis too.
That is a very, very, very straight penis. Does yours not have a lean?
So okay, we don't need to discuss that. Second on our list that I don't think either of you have any experience with, Gears of War moved from Epic. So Epic did Gears 1, 2, 3, and Judgment. And then starting in 2016, the Coalition was actually 343 and the Coalition were both studios that were spun up from by Microsoft specifically to make one franchise. So 343 was made to make Halo, and that's all they do. And the Coalition was created to make Gears, and that's all they do. I know that you guys don't have experience with Gears, but
Isn't that kind of like in the style of the way
Yeah.
Activision does things?
The only experience with Gears I have is the first game and the final battle of like the third game.
Andrew, I want to come back to that. Ben, what were you asking?
Isn't that kind of like the model of how Activision does things?
As far as like having one studio make one thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, now that you mention it, like all Treyarch does is make Call of Duty. And all Sledgehammer does is make Call of Duty. And all Infinity Ward does is make Call of Duty.
But they make different versions.
Yeah, they make different Call of Duties. Ben,
They
do you have
call
any?
each other's duty. Ooh, that is
Nice.
some artistic cock right there. Look at the hair and everything.
Ben, do you have any experience with Gears of War?
No, never got into it.
They're pretty awesome games. Andrew, you said you
Yeah.
played the first one?
Yeah, when I was in high school or something, that was like again like middle school and high school. I had friends who had Xboxes, and when those games came out, and I remember spending a whole weekend playing the first Gears of War game with my buddy on his Xbox, and it was amazing. It was
Oh,
like
yeah.
so much fucking fun, like such a cool game, and then. That was really, I don't remember whether it was the second one or the third one or what. I remember playing the end battle of one of them where you're like deep underground, and it's all like red, and there's all these like there was like this big ass structure built underground that I'm pretty sure the aliens like built, and the whole point is you have to like get on the structure and activate some like super bomb that kills everything. I'm pretty sure that's not the first one.
It's Gears 2.
And that's 2? Okay.
Yeah.
And I played the first one and that last level of the second one. Like where you do that and then they bomb everything and like
Yeah.
kill all of the stuff. Like
The
I
Locust.
remember like playing that mission and then watching that cutscene where like all the tunnels are like getting bombed.
Yeah,
And that's it.
and that
And the
cutscene
games
is
are cool.
amazing.
I would love if those games came to PlayStation and I could just like play them couch co-op with some friends, because just honestly, just for the couch co-op reason, that's like one of
Yeah.
the best couch co-op games I've played. That game is so fucking fun.
Those games are amazing.
I'll always remember the level with the weird bat creature things that can only attack you when you're not in the light.
Oh,
When it's,
yeah,
like,
those guys were
nighttime
awesome.
in the first game, and like running between like having to push like carts covered in light.
Yeah.
And while you did the, what was it called, the rowdy run, where you do like where
Yeah,
you like
the rodeo run.
crouch, the roadie run or whatever, like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Sounds a lot like
running while
Plague
crouched,
Tale.
like
yeah.
Yeah, I knew Ben was going to think of that. Ben, are you shading around the veins now?
Mhm.
Oh my god! I just like noticed the little break in the color there, and I'm like, oh my god, it is a vein.
But no, so that's is it a dog dick?
Wow.
Oh, it's
Because
a red penis. Yeah, is it a red
really
rocket?
Pink.
You have to draw. Yeah, you'd have to like circumcise like half of it.
When we were in high school one time, I was like in band and I was waiting for band to start, and Eric comes in and sits down, like gets his tube out and sits down next to me, and he goes, "You know what's really red?" I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Dog dick." I was like,
It is very red.
I mean,
All
you're
animal
not
penises
wrong.
are very red. I remember seeing my cat's little red rocket come out as a kid because my brother would like scratch him on the belly, and I'd be like, I had no idea that cats could even do that. And I'm like, look at it, it's like a little lipstick coming
Andrew
out. It's
had
like
a couple of
bright
beers.
fucking
Andrew jerked off his cat.
no, my
Right.
brother technically.
Moving on.
No, he just had big hands. He was scratching him on the belly, and my cat would be like, "Oh,
Okay,
this is a
moving
nice belly
on.
rub," and he'd
Andrew,
get a little
moving
boner.
on. Andrew, we're moving on. So, no, the coalition was spun up to take over Gears of War after Microsoft bought it from Epic. Gears of War 4 was awesome. Gears of War 5, not so much. So, kind of seems like a trend. Jesus Christ, Ben. Kind of seems like a trend. It's, you know, I don't know. I hope that Gears 6 is better, but we'll see.
But it won't be.
Now I think we're moving into the ones you guys have more experience with. Ben, I know you played this game. Uncharted had a spin-off made by Bend Studios. Ben, can you stop dicking around?
Literally.
Uncharted
Just,
had a spin-off
playing with my dick.
made by Bend Studios called Golden Abyss. Andrew,
Oh, that was the one for the PSP, right?
PS Vita.
PS Vita. I definitely played that. I think I played
It was a good game.
but
It was honestly like a shockingly good
having
game.
oddly, because that's also a game I've been playing recently, is the Nathan Drake collection.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was
Should've
like,
been a
I'm
part of
bored.
it.
I need something, and I forgot they gave it away for free a while back, and I had it, and then they just like were showing it on the store, and I was like, oh,
yeah, they're
I'll
giving it
replay
away
that.
for free
I've
right
never-
now.
yeah, oh yeah, it's free right now. Well,
Have you played those
So-
games before?
I've played the first one, and I'm pretty sure the second one, but I never played the third one. So I'm replaying the first one, and then I'm going to play the third one.
No, play the second one. You want to play
I've played
1,
the
2,
second
3.
one.
You-
I've played the second one. The second one's where they go to like the Mayan sort of like crazy
Yeah.
temple
But then
thing,
you
and
also...
then the
Ben, stop it.
like I don't remember exactly what happens in the second one, but yeah, I'm playing the trilogy over, and I don't know if I've ever played the Golden Abyss one, but I would say even replaying them now, the first one remastered, the studio that did that did a great fucking job.
Oh, yeah, Blue Point. Such a... So
It's
those
like,
games...
even just shooting, like shooting enemies on a PS3 game, I'm like that. It's very responsive. Like right
Oh, yeah.
where you shoot them, they'll like.
An
And I was like,
early
man, I remember
PS3
this game. Yeah, it was like a launch title. I remember
No,
my friend
2007.
basically. No, okay. Well, I remember my friend getting a PS3 in high school, and that was like the game he got. And then again, like going to my friend's house for a weekend with my other buddy, and we all played Uncharted over a weekend. And I kind of remember like bits and pieces of it, and then I remembered like the main ending. So I've just been replaying that because it's nostalgic. But I would definitely say the original studio did a great job through the whole thing.
Well, you know who the studio is.
Naughty Dog.
It's Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
Ben, put your
Naughty
penis
Dog.
away. So Ben, you've played Golden Abyss, and you've played the other 3 games. Well, I guess
I
4.
would say that I like Golden Abyss on the level with 1, 2, and 3.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not as crazy about 4.
I think 4 is the worst one.
I thought 4 was cool, but I
I'm-
also had very little experience.
I'm not quite as fond of it as you are, Ben, because I would say that, like, for me it goes 3, 1, 2, Golden Abyss, 4.
That's what everyone says. That's why I'm excited to play 3. I've never played 3, and
3 is the
everyone's
best one.
It's definitely the best one. Really?
Oh, 3 is cool.
I might just stop playing the first one because I'm on the last level of the first one. I'm like,
no,
I already know what happens.
finish the
like,
first one.
I'm just gonna fucking play the third one. I never ever played the third one, but the third one's like everyone says it's the best one.
Ben, put your penis back in your pants. No, so 3 is the best one. I think that for what it is, considering it's a handheld game, Golden Abyss is both extremely impressive and proves that Bend was capable of making an Uncharted game that's not quite up to Naughty Dog standards, but very, very close. And like it's a spin-off. It's a time when another developer took the reins on a Naughty Dog game or a Naughty Dog Studios game for one entry, and I think it went really well, and I wouldn't mind seeing them do it more.
Seems fair.
Quite.
So, Retro Studios has done it twice. Once, the first time they did it was they revived Metroid when they made Metroid Prime in 2002. And then I've never played Metroid Prime. Have you guys?
No,
I never
Tim
played
probably
Metroid
has.
Prime. I only played the Metroid game on the Wii, and I loved it.
That was Prime 3. The first person one?
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's Prime 3.
Oh, that game on the Wii, that and Okami were like, but Metroid Prime 3, like, yeah, I never got to play the original, but that one, yeah, those games are very, very cool. If they ever fucking release the 4th one on the Switch, I will be very happy.
I'm hoping that they make a Metroid Prime trilogy on the Switch.
Oh, that would be even better.
I mean, there's
I never
a lot
played
of
the
rumors
first
of it.
2. The third one, I guess, the one for the Wii, I didn't know that was the third one. That one's awesome.
What if they did 4, 5, and 6?
I mean, they're having enough trouble doing 4 at all. Which that's another really good example is Metroid Prime 4.
What if they just had Amazon get involved because they're both Prime?
I see the connection there.
Extra, there's some free funding for Nintendo.
You're an ideas man.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also did it again with Donkey Kong Country Returns in 2010. Did you guys play these games, the new Donkey Kong games?
Night Tag.
No. The last Donkey Kong game I played was DK64.
DK64 was an awesome game.
Okay.
I know. Donkey Kong 64 was a great fucking game.
You know what I love in
The leader of the bunch.
Except that to beat the fucking game, you literally have to beat the old Donkey Kong game. Like the original Donkey Kong game. And I just gave up at that point because I was like 12.
Okay. So Donkey Kong Country Returns, excellent game. I would say of the 5 Donkey Kong Country games, I would say it's like it goes 2, 5, 1, 4, 3.
Your mother.
So while Returns wasn't like it brought the series back, it wasn't as good as any of the previous, or I guess it was better than 3, but it wasn't as good as 1 and 2. But then when they made Tropical Freeze, their sequel, their second Donkey Kong Country game, I think they really nailed it and made like the second best DKC game there is.
I hope that game goes on sale one day because I would definitely buy it on sale.
Honestly, it's
with
worth
how frustrated,
$60.
With how frustrated I used to get with the Game Boy Donkey Kong games, I think I need it to be on sale. Otherwise, I know I'm going to hit a point where I'm just going to like hate it and want to throw my Switch at the wall.
Aren't a bunch of their normal game on a bunch of their games on sale right now that they normally never put on sale? Like, isn't like Breath of the Wild on sale digitally?
I didn't know about that. I might buy that game.
Oh, they have it digitally? Damn, I should recommend that to my roommate. I keep telling him, I'm like, I have the physical copy. So I'm pretty sure
Breath
he's
of the Wild?
like, I want it. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, and it's the only physical copy game I have for the Switch. Because I bought it when I bought my Switch. I was just like, I'm gonna go buy Breath of the Wild so I can like, open it, put it in there. But yeah, if that's actually on sale, because I'm like, dude, if you want a good Switch game, like, oh my god,
Pretty sure that I read that.
Yeah, no, that would be really awesome, Ben. And like Andrew, even if it's not on sale, Tropical Freeze.
I keep telling him, I'm like, yo, I have the that
Tropical Freeze is worth $60 easy. That game is amazing.
$60.
And then last one that I had on the list. There have actually been a lot of Ethan's here. There have actually been a lot of kind of one-off Zelda games. So there have been a lot of one-off Zelda games like Minish Cap. Capcom.
Ooh, that game's great.
Yeah, Minish Cap is fantastic.
I played that on an emulator.
Yeah, I mean, it's anywhere you can play that game, it's good to play that game. But were there any that you guys that come to mind for you guys?
Twilight Princess.
Well, there was like the weirdness with Red Dead Redemption to
I guess that's right.
Red Dead Revolver to Redemption.
Yeah,
meaning it improved exponentially.
Well, I mean,
but then again, Red Dead Revolver is like a way different game.
Revolver was technically the same people. It's just they kind of transformed what that studio was between Revolver and Redemption.
I thought that it was that Revolver that Rockstar only published Revolver, and then whereas they like fully developed Redemption.
Well, so no, initially it was being developed by a studio called Angel Studios, and then and being published by Capcom.
Yeah, that's right.
Then Capcom wanted them to make it like way more wacky than they were wanting to make it. And so when they wouldn't do that, Capcom backed out and they shopped around for publishers, and Rockstar really liked it and then bought the studio and turned Angel Studios into Rockstar San Diego.
So then, I mean, essentially, yeah, that kind of made the game. I would say that in some ways, in a lot of ways, that made the game change, because the first game was
absolutely
like you're on a rail.
And
whereas the second game you are.
It's totally open world, and that's actually a really good one to point out, because that's a really unique situation where it's like it didn't change hands, but it changed publishers. It was the same studio that made it, but the studio being influenced differently by different publishers really led to a radically different product. Like, yeah. And you can still see, I mean, even when they came under Rockstar before Revolver was released, you can still see those hints of Capcom's influence in Revolver, in that it is quite a bit larger than life. Whereas Redemption and Redemption 2 are much more grounded.
Yeah.
No, that's a really interesting one. I can't believe I didn't think of that.
Really interesting one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You guys have any others to throw in there?
I haven't got any off the top of my head.
Can't say that I do.
All right, then you guys know what time it is. It's time.
Andrew's favorite.
For the weekly trivia challenge.
To let Ben win.
All right. This one's a little bit long, so listen close. Over the years, the movie industry has worked hard to implement 3D visual effects, but they aren't alone. There have been plenty of video games with 3D visuals as well. Which of the following games initially had a 3D effect in development that was scrapped before their original release? So, just to clear things up, we're only talking about the original release of the game. Any subsequent releases are off the table. And 3 of these games actually did have a 3D effect, like the 3D glasses or whatever.
Like if you had 3D glasses on.
And one started out developing a 3D effect, but it was scrapped during development. The games are A, Assassin's Creed Revelations, B, Duke Nukem 3D, C, Luigi's Mansion, and D, Batman Arkham Asylum.
I'm gonna go final answer.
What'd you say?
Luigi's Mansion, final answer.
Andrew?
You said it's a game whose VR or
Not
3D,
VR, 3D
thing was taken out during development.
Right. So initially they were developing a 3D effect for the game, and then it was scrapped during development.
And what are the games again?
The games are A, Assassin's Creed Revelations, B, Duke Nukem 3D, C, Luigi's Mansion, and D, Batman Arkham Asylum.
I'm going to say Batman. Final answer.
All right. Well, Andrew, I am very sorry, but it was not Batman. Ben?
Let me guess he was right.
Andrew, I'm very sorry, but it was Luigi's Mansion.
I don't even know why we do this. This is a pointless competition.
There genuinely is no collusion here. I have never
Somehow
leaked.
Ben just guesses the right answer every single week.
I have never
Yeah,
leaked the answer to Ben.
Collusion!
The only game that I specifically remember there being 3D glasses and an effect for was Arkham.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Arkham had 3D. Assassin's Creed Revelations had 3D as well.
I also was like, yeah, I could see the Assassin's Creed doing something weird and gimmicky like that.
And also it was at the right time.
Yeah.
Moving forward, I'm just going to guess exactly what Ben guesses.
Well, you'll lose because he's already so far ahead.
Oh, well, that's fine. Good thing I don't really care.
All right. Well, that's all we've got for you guys tonight. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to leave us a rating and review on whatever platform you found us on. And if you can't get enough of hearing us talk, or in the case of us, seeing Ben wave around a drawing of a penis.
God damn it. I can't believe you spent like half of the podcast drawing it just so that you could spend the other half fake shaking it out of your pants.
So if you just can't get enough of us, you can see everything we do all in one spot over at coldnorthpro.com. That does include our other podcast, Game Pass Anonymous, where we play games currently on Xbox Game Pass and discuss them together like a book club. We'll be back next week.
Bad games, so you don't have to.
We'll be back next week talking about whatever happens in the next 7 days. So until then, reset.
RESETT, reset the game system for me.
It's a red wiener.
It's a really red wiener.
It's like
Pretty red from where we stand.
You know, like the red hot dogs. It's a pencil dick.
Alright, time to go make some tacos for me.
Did seeing Ben's get y'all hungry?